Welcome to Brazil, a country that spans nearly half of South America and holds secrets that have captivated explorers for centuries. From the rhythm of samba echoing through cobblestone streets to the whisper of ancient rainforests that have existed since the dawn of time, Brazil is a land where every corner tells a story of wonder, vitality, and breathtaking beauty. But here's what I want you to consider. What happens when a country blessed with such natural magnificence also becomes home to some of the world's most vibrant cultures? What stories emerge when Portuguese colonization meets indigenous wisdom? African rhythms blend with European architecture, and modern innovation dances with ancient traditions. Today, we'll explore 10 destinations that capture the essence of Brazil's soul, from the iconic beaches of Rio to the mysterious depths of the Amazon, from the colonial charm of Parody to the modern marvels of Brasilia. Each location we visit will reveal layers of history, culture, and natural beauty that will leave you planning your next adventure before we even finish our journey. Ready to discover why Brazil captures hearts and never lets them go? Don't forget to subscribe to our channel for more incredible travel adventures, and check the description below for exclusive deals on flights and accommodations that will make your Brazilian dream a reality. Rio de Janeiro. Rio de Janeiro sits like a jewel on Brazil's southeastern coast, where the Atlantic Ocean meets one of the world's most dramatic urban landscapes. The city is built around and between enormous granite mountains that rise directly from the sea, creating a natural amphitheater that frames some of the planet's most famous beaches. Guanabara Bay, one of the world's largest natural harbors, cradles the city, while the Tijuca National Park, the world's largest urban rainforest, provides a green lung that filters the air for over 6 million residents. This is the birthplace of samba, where music isn't just entertainment. It's a language that speaks directly to the soul. Every February, the city transforms into the world's largest stage during Carnival, when over 2 million people take to the streets in a celebration that represents the triumph of joy over adversity. But Rio's culture extends far beyond Carnival. It's in the way strangers become friends over a shared acai bowl, in the impromptu football games that break out on any flat surface, and in the jeitinho brasileiro, the Brazilian way of finding creative solutions to impossible problems. Founded in 1565 by Portuguese colonizers who mistook Guanabara Bay for a river mouth, hence Rio, meaning river, the city became the gateway for Brazil's colonial wealth. For over 200 years, ships laden with gold from Minas Gerais departed from Rio's ports, making it one of the most important cities in the Portuguese Empire. In 1808, something extraordinary happened. The Portuguese royal family, fleeing Napoleon's invasion, moved their entire court to Rio, making it the only colonial city ever to serve as the capital of a European empire. This transformation brought European sophistication to the tropics and established Rio as a cultural center that would influence all of South America. The city served as Brazil's capital from 1763 to 1960, witnessing the abolition of slavery, the proclamation of the Republic, and the rise of modern Brazil. Each era left its mark: colonial churches in Santa Teresa, Belle Epoque palaces in Gloria, Art Deco apartments in Copacabana, and modernist architecture throughout the city. Christ the Redeemer statue stands 98 feet tall atop Corcovado Mountain, arms outstretched in eternal welcome. This Art Deco masterpiece, one of the new 7 wonders of the world, offers 360-degree views that will redefine your understanding of urban beauty. The journey to reach it, whether by historic cogwheel train through Tijuca Forest or by van up winding mountain roads, is as memorable as the destination itself. Copacabana Beach stretches for 2.5 miles of golden sand, where the beautiful and the everyday mingle in perfect harmony. Here, you'll witness the Brazilian beach culture in its purest form. Vendors selling everything from fresh coconut water to handmade bikinis, beach football games that could put World Cup matches to shame, and sunsets that paint the sky in colors you didn't know existed. Sugarloaf Mountain, accessible by cable car, provides a different perspective on Rio's geography. At 1,299 feet above sea level, you'll understand why this granite monolith has become synonymous with Rio's skyline. The cable car ride itself is an adventure, swinging gently over tropical vegetation while the city spreads below like a living map. The historic Santa Teresa neighborhood, perched on a hill overlooking the city, maintains the bohemian spirit that has attracted artists, writers, and dreamers for over a century. Narrow cobblestone streets wind between colonial mansions turned into art studios, cozy restaurants serving traditional Brazilian cuisine, and bars where samba was born and continues to evolve. Rio de Janeiro represents Brazil's ability to create beauty from geography, culture from diversity, and joy from adversity. This city teaches us that spectacular natural settings become truly magical when inhabited by people who understand how to celebrate life. From the spiritual embrace of Christ the Redeemer to the rhythmic energy of its beaches, Rio demonstrates that true marvelous cities are those where nature and human creativity dance together in perfect harmony. Salvador. Salvador sits dramatically on the northeastern coast of Brazil, built across two levels that create one of the most visually striking cityscapes in the Americas. The upper city, perched on cliffs 279 feet above sea level, houses the historic Pelourinho district, while the lower city stretches along the Bay of All Saints, the largest bay in Brazil and second largest in the world. This geographic division isn't merely topographical, it's deeply symbolic. The upper city represented power and control during colonial times, housing government buildings, churches, and the homes of Portuguese colonizers. The lower city became the domain of commerce, African markets, and the cultural fusion that would define Salvador's identity. Even today, elevators and inclined planes connect these two worlds, creating a daily journey between past and present. The city's location at the mouth of the Bay of All Saints made it a natural harbor for the Portuguese Empire, and tragically, the primary entry point for enslaved Africans brought to Brazil. This geographic advantage that brought prosperity also brought profound cultural transformation, as African traditions took root in Brazilian soil and flourished in ways that would reshape the entire continent. Salvador is home to the largest population of African descendants outside of Africa itself, and this heritage isn't preserved in museums. It lives, breathes, and dances through the streets every day. The city is the birthplace of capoeira, the martial art disguised as dance that enslaved Africans created to practice self-defense while appearing to entertain their oppressors. Today, capoeira circles form spontaneously in squares and beaches, where the barimba's haunting melody calls participants into a conversation between bodies that transcends language. The religious landscape of Salvador reflects this cultural fusion in remarkable ways. Candomblé, the Afro-Brazilian religion that maintained African spiritual traditions through centuries of persecution, coexists with Catholicism in a synthesis that creates unique celebrations like the Festa de Iemanjá, where thousands gather to honor the goddess of the sea with flowers and gifts cast into the ocean. Founded in 1549 as the first capital of colonial Brazil, Salvador served as the administrative and economic center of the Portuguese Empire in the Americas for over 200 years. The city's wealth was built on sugar plantations worked by enslaved Africans, creating a society of extreme inequality that paradoxically produced one of the world's most vibrant cultural fusions. The historic center of Salvador, known as Pelourinho, preserves the largest collection of colonial architecture in Latin America. These Baroque churches, colonial mansions, and public squares tell complex stories of power, faith, and resistance. The Church of São Francisco, with its interior covered in gold leaf, represents the wealth that flowed through Salvador during its colonial heyday, while the nearby Casa do Benin celebrates the African cultures that survived and thrived despite centuries of oppression. The Pelourinho district, a UNESCO World Heritage Site, offers one of the world's most immersive experiences in colonial architecture and Afro-Brazilian culture. As you walk these streets, you'll encounter the Church of Nosso Senhor do Bonfim, where colorful ribbons tied around your wrist are said to grant wishes when they naturally fall off. Salvador's beaches, particularly Porto de Barra and Flamengo, offer more than just sun and surf. They serve as gathering places where candomblé ceremonies honor Iemanjá, where capoeira masters teach new generations, and where the sunset paints the Bay of All Saints in colors that seem to celebrate the cultural richness of the land. Salvador demonstrates how cultural fusion can create something more beautiful and meaningful than its individual components. This city teaches us that true wealth lies not in gold or political power, but in the ability to preserve and celebrate human creativity across generations. From the rhythmic conversations of capoeira to the spiritual synthesis of its religious traditions, Salvador shows us that culture isn't just what we preserve from the past. It's what we create every day through the way we live, celebrate, and connect with one another. Florianopolis. Florianopolis occupies most of Santa Catarina Island, connected to mainland Brazil by two bridges that span the narrow channel separating the island from the continent. This unique geographic position creates a city that's simultaneously isolated enough to maintain its distinct character and connected enough to serve as the capital of Santa Catarina State. The island's topography is a masterpiece of natural variety. The eastern coast faces the open Atlantic Ocean, creating beaches with strong waves perfect for surfing and dramatic coastal scenery. The western side, protected by the mainland, offers calm waters ideal for families and water sports. Mountains rise from the center of the island, covered in Atlantic rainforest that harbors endemic species, and provides hiking trails with panoramic views of both the ocean and the mainland. This geographic diversity creates multiple microclimates and ecosystems within a single city. You can start your day surfing on the wild eastern beaches, hike through rainforest to hidden waterfalls in the afternoon, and end with a peaceful sunset over the calm western bays. The island's location at 27 degrees south latitude provides a subtropical climate that makes outdoor activities possible year-round. Florianopolis' culture reflects the influence of Azorean immigrants who arrived in the 18th century, bringing Portuguese traditions that adapted to island life. This heritage appears in the architecture of fishing villages, traditional lace-making techniques still practiced by local artisans, and culinary traditions that center around fresh seafood and Portuguese-influenced recipes. The city has evolved into a major technology hub, earning the nickname Silicon Island for its concentration of software companies and startups. This modern economic base attracts young professionals who value quality of life over traditional career pressures, creating a culture that prioritizes outdoor activities, environmental conservation, and work-life balance. The island's history begins with the Carrijo indigenous people, who called it Mayambai, mountain along the channel. Portuguese colonization began in 1673, but the most significant cultural influence came from Azorean immigrants in the 1740s and 1750s. These settlers brought specific architectural styles, fishing techniques, and cultural traditions that shaped the island's identity. Unlike many Brazilian cities built on colonial exploitation, Florianopolis developed as a community of small farmers and fishermen. This history of relative equality and self-sufficiency created a cultural foundation that values sustainability, community cooperation, and environmental stewardship. The transformation into a modern city began in the 1960s with the construction of the Hercílio Luz Bridge, which connected the island to the mainland. The establishment of the Federal University of Santa Catarina in 1960 brought education and research to the island, laying the groundwork for the technology boom that would follow decades later. Joquina Beach represents Florianopolis at its most dramatic, where 30-foot sand dunes meet powerful Atlantic waves. This is where surfing championships are held, where sandboarding provides thrills for adventure seekers, and where the sunset creates a daily spectacle that draws crowds from across the island. The beach's infrastructure includes beachfront restaurants serving fresh seafood and bars where you can watch surfers challenge some of Brazil's most consistent waves. The historic center of Florianopolis, located on the island's western shore, preserves the architectural heritage of Azorean colonization. The public market, built in 1898, offers fresh seafood, local crafts, and traditional foods like sequência de camarão, shrimp sequence, a multi-course meal that celebrates the island's fishing heritage. The Metropolitan Cathedral and the Cruz e Salsa Palace provide glimpses into the island's colonial past while serving as cultural centers for contemporary art and music. Florianopolis proves that paradise doesn't have to remain untouched to stay magical. This island demonstrates how traditional culture and modern innovation can coexist, creating a lifestyle that values both economic opportunity and environmental stewardship. From the adrenaline rush of surfing perfect waves to the peaceful contemplation of lagoon sunsets, parody. Parody sits like a precious gem between the mountains and the sea on Brazil's Costa Verde green coast, where the Serra do Mar Mountains plunge dramatically into the Atlantic Ocean. This unique geographic position creates a landscape of extraordinary beauty, where tropical rainforest cascades down mountain slopes to meet pristine beaches and crystal-clear waters. The city is surrounded by the Serra de Biquena National Park, home to some of Brazil's most pristine Atlantic rainforest. This geographic protection has preserved not only the natural environment, but also the colonial architecture, as the mountainous terrain made modern development difficult and expensive. The result is a city that has remained largely unchanged since the 18th century, surrounded by nature that provides both protection and incredible beauty. Parody Bay contains 65 islands and over 300 beaches, creating a maritime paradise that can only be fully appreciated by boat. The tidal patterns here are so dramatic that the historic center floods during high tide, creating a natural cleaning system that has helped preserve the colonial cobblestones for centuries. Parody's culture reflects its unique history as a port city that connected Brazil's interior gold mines with the outside world. The city developed a sophisticated urban culture that blended Portuguese colonial architecture with the practical needs of a tropical port town. The result is a cultural landscape where every building tells a story of commerce, spirituality, and artistic creation. The city has long attracted artists, writers, and intellectuals drawn by its preserved colonial atmosphere and natural beauty. This artistic tradition continues today, with Parody serving as a center for contemporary Brazilian literature, hosting one of the country's most important literary festivals. The city's bookshops, art galleries, and cultural centers maintain a tradition of intellectual discourse that dates back centuries. Local traditions include the production of cachaça, Brazil's national spirit, in traditional copper stills that have been operated by the same families for generations. The surrounding mountains provide the perfect conditions for growing sugarcane, and the pure mountain water creates cachaça of exceptional quality that has become legendary throughout Brazil. Founded in 1667, Parody quickly became one of colonial Brazil's most important ports due to its strategic location and natural harbor. The city served as the terminus of the Caminho do Ouro Gold Road, the route that transported gold from the mines of Minas Gerais to ships bound for Portugal. This trade brought enormous wealth to Parody, evidenced by the elaborate churches, mansions, and public buildings constructed during the 18th century. The historic center of Parody represents one of the world's best preserved examples of Portuguese colonial urban planning. The narrow streets, designed for horses and pedestrians, create an intimate scale that makes every walk a journey through history. The four main churches, Santa Rita, Rosario, Matras, and Mercares, each tells a different story of colonial society, from the church built by freed slaves to the main church that served the Portuguese elite. Boat trips through Parody Bay offer access to pristine beaches and islands that can only be reached by water. Popular destinations include Lula Island, with its crystal-clear waters perfect for snorkeling, and Red Beach, where the contrast between white sand and red rocks creates a striking natural palette. These excursions provide opportunities to see dolphins, sea turtles, and tropical fish in their natural habitat. Parody demonstrates that preservation and vitality can coexist, creating destinations that honor the past while serving the present. This colonial jewel teaches us that true luxury lies not in modern amenities, but in the ability to experience beauty, history, and culture at a human scale. From the worn cobblestones that tell stories of centuries of passage to the pristine beaches that provide perfect escape, Parody shows us that the most precious destinations are those where time seems to slow down, allowing us to truly appreciate the artistry of both human creativity and natural beauty. Manaus. Manaus sits at the confluence of the Negro and Solimões rivers, where these two mighty waterways flow side by side for several miles before finally mixing to form the Amazon River. This geographic phenomenon, known as the meeting of waters, creates a natural spectacle where dark and light waters flow parallel, creating a clearly visible line that stretches for miles. The city's location, 900 miles from the Atlantic Ocean, places it at the heart of the Amazon basin, surrounded by the world's largest tropical rainforest. This positioning makes Manaus not just a city, but an ecosystem hub, where urban life adapts to the rhythms of the rainforest. The annual flood cycle of the Amazon affects everything from transportation to architecture, creating a city that rises and falls with the natural world around it. The Amazon rainforest surrounding Manaus contains more biodiversity than any other ecosystem on Earth. Within a single square mile, you might find more species of plants and animals than exist in entire countries. This biological richness creates an environment where every venture into the forest reveals new wonders, from medicinal plants that have yet to be cataloged by science to animal species that exist nowhere else on the planet. Manaus culture reflects the meeting of indigenous Amazonian traditions with Portuguese colonization and waves of migration from around the world. The city's foundation rests on the knowledge of indigenous peoples who have lived in harmony with the Amazon for thousands of years, understanding the forest's rhythms, medicinal properties, and sustainable harvesting techniques. Local culture maintains deep connections to the forest through traditional practices like the use of medicinal plants, sustainable fishing techniques, and craftwork that uses forest materials. The Vero Peso Market and similar gathering places serve as cultural centers where traditional knowledge passes between generations through daily interactions between urban residents and people from surrounding forest communities. The history of Manaus reads like a tale of boom and bust cycles tied to the Amazon's natural resources. Founded in 1669 as a Portuguese fort, the city remained a small settlement until the rubber boom transformed it into one of the world's wealthiest cities. During the Belle Epoque period, 1870–1912, Manaus became known as the Paris of the tropics, with European architecture, electric streetcars, and cultural sophistication that rivaled major European capitals. The construction of the Amazon Theater in 1896 symbolized this golden age, when rubber barons built an opera house in the middle of the jungle and brought world-class performers to entertain the wealthy elite. The theater's pink dome, visible from miles away, represented the audacious ambition of a city that refused to be limited by its jungle location. The meeting of waters, where the Negro and Solimo's rivers flow side by side without mixing, provides a dramatic introduction to the Amazon's natural phenomena. Boat tour to this natural wonder offer opportunities to see pink dolphins, fish for piranhas, and experience the scale of the Amazon River system. The phenomenon results from differences in water temperature, density, and speed, creating a natural boundary that demonstrates the complexity of Amazonian ecosystems. The municipal market, built in 1882 and inspired by Les Halles in Paris, serves as the cultural and commercial heart of Manaus. Here, you can find everything from exotic fruits that grow only in the Amazon to traditional crafts made by indigenous communities. The market provides an immersive experience in Amazonian culture, where vendors explain the uses of medicinal plants, the preparation of traditional foods, and the significance of indigenous art and ceremonies. Manaus teaches us that human civilization can thrive in harmony with the natural world when we approach it with respect, understanding, and adaptation, rather than domination. This gateway to the Amazon demonstrates that the most important destinations are those that connect us to something larger than ourselves, whether that's the planet's most vital ecosystem, the wisdom of indigenous cultures, or the humbling experience of our own small place in the vast web of life. From the cultural sophistication of the Amazon Theater to the raw wonder of the rainforest, Manaus shows us that true adventure begins when we step outside our comfort zones and into the unknown. Brasilia. Brasilia sits on the central plateau of Brazil, 3,500 feet above sea level in the geographic center of the country. This location, chosen specifically to promote interior development and national integration, places the capital equidistant from all major Brazilian cities. The surrounding landscape of rolling hills, vast skis, and endless horizons creates a setting that emphasizes the human structures placed within it. The city's geographic position in the Cerrado Savanna, Brazil's tropical grassland, provides a climate distinct from the coastal cities. The dry season creates brilliant blue skies and spectacular sunsets, while the wet season brings dramatic thunderstorms that seem to stretch across the entire continent. This landscape influenced the city's architectural design, with buildings that appear to float on the plateau and wide spaces that emphasize the relationship between human creation and natural environment. The artificial Lake Paraná, created specifically for the new capital, demonstrates the scale of transformation involved in building Brasilia. This 15-square-mile lake not only provides recreation and climate moderation, but also serves as a symbol of human ability to reshape the landscape to serve urban needs while maintaining environmental balance. Brasilia's culture reflects the intentional creation of a new Brazilian identity that would represent the entire nation rather than regional traditions. The city attracted migrants from every corner of Brazil, creating a cultural melting pot where regional differences blended into something uniquely national. This cultural fusion appears in the city's cuisine, music, and social practices, which draw from traditions across Brazil while developing new expressions appropriate to the modernist environment. The city's culture centers around the concept of modernity and national progress. Government workers, international diplomats, and university students create a cosmopolitan atmosphere focused on education, politics, and cultural sophistication. The city's numerous museums, theaters, and cultural centers reflect this emphasis on intellectual and artistic achievement. The city's design, created by urban planner Lucio Costa and architect Oscar Niemeyer, revolutionized concepts of urban living. The plan, shaped like an airplane or cross, separated urban functions into distinct areas connected by wide avenues designed for automobile traffic. This design reflected 1950s optimism about technology, progress, and the ability of planning to create perfect urban environments. Construction began in 1957, with workers arriving from across Brazil to build the new capital. The construction site, known as Candangolândia, became a city in itself, housing the thousands of workers who built Brasilia in record time. The city was officially inaugurated on April 21, 1960, exactly 4 years after construction began. The National Congress Building, with its distinctive twin towers and inverted domes, represents the heart of Brazilian democracy and showcases Oscar Niemeyer's revolutionary architectural vision. The building's design allows natural light to flood the legislative chambers while creating a sculptural landmark visible from across the city. Free tour provide insight into Brazilian politics and the architectural innovations that make the building both functional and symbolic. The Cathedral of Brasilia, with its crown of concrete arches reaching toward the sky, creates a sacred space that seems to float above the earth. The underground entrance leads visitors from darkness into a soaring space filled with natural light, creating a spiritual experience that demonstrates architecture's power to inspire and uplift. The cathedral's design reflects both modernist principles and timeless spiritual aspirations. The Juscelino Kubitschek Memorial honors the president who made Brasilia possible, featuring a curved structure that seems to defy gravity while housing exhibits about the city's construction and the vision behind its creation. The memorial provides historical context for understanding Brasilia's significance in Brazilian development and modernist urban planning. Brasilia proves that human vision, when combined with determination and resources, can create entirely new realities. This modernist capital teaches us that architecture and urban planning are not just about building structures, but about expressing values, aspirations, and dreams about how human society can organize itself. From the soaring concrete arches of the cathedral to the floating presidential palace, Brasilia demonstrates that the most powerful destinations are those that challenge our assumptions about what's possible and inspire us to imagine different futures. Recife. Recife sits at the mouth of the Biberibe and Capibaribe rivers, where these waterways create a delta that forms numerous islands connected by over 50 bridges. This unique geography earned the city its nickname Venice of Brazil and created an urban landscape where water is as important as land in defining the city's character and transportation patterns. The city's coastal location provides natural protection through a barrier reef system that creates calm waters perfect for swimming and water sports. This reef system, which gives the city its name, Recife means reef in Portuguese, has protected the harbor for centuries and contributed to Recife's development as one of Brazil's most important ports. The tropical climate, moderated by ocean breezes and the presence of multiple waterways, creates ideal conditions for year-round outdoor activities. The city's numerous parks and waterfront areas take advantage of this geography to create public spaces where residents and visitors can enjoy the unique combination of urban sophistication and natural beauty. Recife's culture reflects its history as a center of trade and cultural exchange, where African, Portuguese, indigenous, and Dutch influences created a unique cultural fusion. The city is the birthplace of Frevo, the energetic dance and musical style that requires incredible physical stamina and creates a carnival atmosphere that transforms the entire city during celebrations. Local cuisine reflects the city's coastal location and multicultural heritage, with dishes that combine indigenous ingredients, African techniques, and Portuguese influences. Specialties like caldeirada, seafood stew, and tapioca filled with fresh ingredients showcase the creativity that emerges when different culinary traditions meet and blend. Founded in 1537, Recife quickly developed into one of the most important ports in colonial Brazil due to its strategic location and natural harbor. The city's early prosperity attracted the attention of the Dutch, who occupied and developed Recife from 1630 to 1654, creating a period of religious tolerance and urban planning that influenced the city's development for centuries. The 18th and 19th centuries saw Recife develop into a major center of sugar production and trade, bringing wealth that funded the construction of churches, palaces, and public buildings that showcase the city's colonial architectural heritage. The abolition of slavery and the decline of the sugar economy led to economic challenges, but also to the preservation of historical neighborhoods that might otherwise have been demolished for modern development. The historic center of Recife, particularly the neighborhoods of Recife Antigo and São José, preserves one of Brazil's most important collections of colonial and 19th century architecture. The area includes the Kahil Zur Israel Synagogue, the oldest synagogue in the Americas, and the Malakoff Tower, a 19th century astronomical observatory that now serves as a cultural center. Boa Viagem Beach stretches for 4 miles along the city's coast, offering urban beach culture at its most sophisticated. The beach is protected by natural reefs that create calm waters for swimming, while the waterfront promenade provides space for jogging, cycling, and people watching. The area's high-rise buildings and beachfront restaurants create a Miami-like atmosphere that attracts visitors from across Brazil and beyond. Recife demonstrates that cities built on water develop unique characters that reflect the fluid nature of their geography. This Venice of Brazil teaches us that cultural richness emerges from the meeting of different traditions, whether Dutch urban planning meets Portuguese colonization, or African rhythms blend with European musical forms. From the energetic steps of frevo dancers to the calm waters of urban beaches, Recife shows us that the most vibrant destinations are those where historical depth supports contemporary creativity. Curitiba. Curitiba sits on the Brazilian plateau at an elevation of 3,100 feet, creating a subtropical climate that provides 4 distinct seasons and comfortable temperatures year-round. This geographic position in southern Brazil, about 65 miles from the Atlantic coast, provides the city with abundant rainfall and moderate temperatures that support lush vegetation and outdoor activities throughout the year. The city's location in the Paraná pine forest region influenced its development as an environmentally conscious urban center. The presence of native Araucaria trees throughout the city creates a unique urban forest that provides natural air conditioning, wildlife habitat, and recreational opportunities within the metropolitan area. The region's topography, with rolling hills and numerous streams, required careful urban planning to prevent flooding and soil erosion. This geographic challenge became an opportunity for innovative environmental management that transformed potential problems into assets like parks, lakes, and green corridors that enhance quality of life. Curitiba's culture reflects its history as a destination for European immigrants, particularly from Poland, Germany, and Italy, who arrived in the 19th and early 20th centuries. This European influence appears in the city's architecture, cuisine, and cultural traditions, creating a unique Brazilian city with strong international connections. Local cultural institutions, including theaters, museums, and cultural centers, reflect the city's commitment to education and artistic expression. The presence of major universities and research institutions creates an atmosphere of intellectual curiosity and innovation that permeates daily life. Founded in 1693 by Portuguese explorers, Curitiba remained a small settlement until the 19th century, when it became a stopping point for cattle drives from Rio Grande do Sul to Sao Paulo. The arrival of European immigrants in the late 19th century began the city's transformation into a major urban center. The modern history of Curitiba begins in the 1970s with the implementation of an innovative urban plan created by architect and planner Jamie Lerner. This plan prioritized public transportation, green spaces, and pedestrian areas, creating a model of sustainable urban development that challenged conventional approaches to city planning. The Botanical Garden of Curitiba, with its distinctive greenhouse inspired by 19th century European architecture, serves as both a scientific research center and a popular recreational destination. The garden's formal French-style landscaping, combined with native Brazilian plants, creates a unique space that reflects the city's blend of international influences and local environmental awareness. The Wire Opera House, built in a former quarry, represents Curitiba's innovative approach to cultural infrastructure. This unique venue, with its distinctive tubular steel structure, hosts concerts and performances in a setting that demonstrates how industrial sites can be transformed into cultural assets through creative design and environmental sensitivity. The Rua das Flores, Street of Flowers, Brazil's first pedestrian mall, showcases Curitiba's commitment to creating people-friendly urban spaces. This walking street, lined with shops, cafes, and cultural venues, provides a model for how cities can prioritize pedestrians over automobiles while maintaining economic vitality. Curitiba proves that cities can be both environmentally sustainable and economically prosperous when urban planning prioritizes human needs and environmental health. This model city teaches us that innovation emerges from the willingness to challenge conventional approaches and experiment with new solutions. From the world's first bus rapid transit system to programs that turn waste into resources, Curitiba demonstrates that the most successful destinations are those that create systems allowing people and the environment to thrive together. Gramado. Gramado sits in the Saragocha Mountains at an elevation of 2,600 feet, creating a subtropical highland climate that provides cool temperatures and distinct seasons rare in Brazil. This geographic position in the southern tip of Brazil, about 75 miles from Porto Alegre, creates weather patterns that support European-style vegetation and agriculture. The rolling hills covered in pine forests and vineyards create a landscape that seems transplanted from the European Alps. The region's topography, with valleys, streams, and mountain peaks, provides natural beauty that changes dramatically with the seasons, from spring flowers to autumn colors that rival those found in temperate regions around the world. Gramado's culture reflects the strong influence of German and Italian immigrants who arrived in the 19th century, bringing architectural styles, culinary traditions, and cultural practices that created a unique Brazilian interpretation of European alpine culture. This heritage appears in the city's half-timbered buildings, traditional festivals, and emphasis on craftsmanship and quality. The city's cultural calendar revolves around festivals that celebrate both European traditions and Brazilian creativity. The Gramado Film Festival, one of Latin America's most important cinema events, attracts filmmakers and celebrities from around the world, while Natal Luz, Christmas Light, transforms the city into a magical holiday destination that draws visitors from across Brazil and beyond. Local artisans maintain traditions of woodworking, textile production, and food preparation that reflect European heritage, adapted to Brazilian materials and tastes. The city's numerous craft shops and artisan workshops allow visitors to observe and purchase products that represent generations of skill and cultural tradition. Founded in the 1870s by German and Italian immigrants seeking agricultural opportunities in Brazil's mountains, Gramado began as a farming community that gradually developed into a resort destination. The city's transformation from agricultural settlement to tourist destination began in the 1960s when improved transportation made the region accessible to visitors from Brazil's major cities. The development of tourism infrastructure, including hotels, restaurants, and entertainment venues, was carefully planned to maintain the city's European character while providing modern amenities. This approach created a destination that feels authentic rather than artificial, where European traditions have been genuinely integrated into Brazilian culture. The success of Gramado as a tourist destination influenced the development of surrounding communities, creating a regional tourism economy based on wine production, outdoor activities, and cultural attractions that showcase the unique German-Brazilian culture of the Serra Gaúcha. The Rua Coberta, covered street, serves as Gramado's main shopping and dining district, where traditional German architecture houses restaurants serving fondue, chocolate shops offering handmade confections, and craft stores selling locally made goods. The area's pedestrian-friendly design and European atmosphere create a unique shopping experience that combines cultural immersion with retail therapy. The Snowland Park offers a year-round winter experience in a climate-controlled environment where visitors can experience snow, ice skating, and winter sports regardless of the season. This innovative attraction demonstrates Brazilian ingenuity in creating unique experiences that wouldn't naturally occur in the local climate. Gramado demonstrates that authentic cultural destinations can be created through genuine immigration and cultural adaptation, rather than artificial theming. This alpine town teaches us that the most charming destinations are those where different cultures meet and create something new, while maintaining respect for their origins. From the aroma of fresh chocolate to the warmth of European hospitality, adapted to Brazilian friendliness, Gramado shows us that the most memorable travel experiences come from places where cultural authenticity creates unique and unrepeatable experiences. Trancoso. Trancoso sits on dramatic cliffs overlooking the Atlantic Ocean on Bahia's Discovery Coast, where Portuguese explorers first landed in Brazil in 1500. This historic coastline features pristine beaches, coral reefs, and coconut groves that create a tropical paradise setting that seems designed for relaxation and contemplation. The village's location on a bluff 100 feet above the ocean provides spectacular views while protecting the settlement from coastal erosion and storms. The surrounding landscape of Atlantic rainforest, mangroves, and beaches creates a natural environment that supports diverse wildlife and provides numerous opportunities for ecotourism and outdoor activities. Trancoso's culture reflects its history as a Jesuit mission founded in 1586, where Portuguese missionaries worked with indigenous Pataxo people to create a community that blended European and indigenous traditions. The village's central square, with its colorful colonial houses and simple white church, preserves this historical foundation while adapting to contemporary uses. The transformation of Trancoso from a forgotten fishing village to an international destination began in the 1970s when artists, writers, and alternative lifestyle seekers discovered its beauty and authentic character. This bohemian colonization created a culture that values environmental preservation, artistic expression, and the simple pleasures of coastal living. The history of Trancoso begins with the Pataxo, indigenous people who lived along this coast for thousands of years before European contact. The Portuguese arrival in 1500 marked the beginning of colonial period, though Trancoso remained a small and relatively isolated settlement for centuries. The Jesuit mission established in 1586 created the urban framework that still defines Trancoso today. The central square, lined with simple colonial houses, was designed to serve both religious and commercial functions, creating a community space that continues to be the heart of village life. The modern rediscovery of Trancoso began in the 1970s, when improved transportation made the village accessible to visitors from Brazil's major cities. However, development has been carefully controlled to preserve the village's character and environmental integrity, creating a model for sustainable tourism development. The Quadrado, Trancoso's central square, represents one of Brazil's most perfectly preserved colonial urban spaces. The colorful houses that line the square now house restaurants, boutiques, and art galleries, while the simple white church of São João Batista maintains its role as the spiritual center of the community. The square's elevated position provides spectacular ocean views, particularly at sunset when the entire village gathers to watch the sun disappear into the Atlantic. Praia dos Caqueiros, accessible by a path from the Quadrado, offers pristine beach experiences with calm waters protected by coral reefs. The beach's infrastructure includes sophisticated beach clubs and restaurants that serve fresh seafood and tropical drinks, creating a perfect balance between natural beauty and modern comfort. The Patax Indigenous Reserve, located near Trancoso, provides opportunities to learn about the indigenous culture that predates European colonization. Visits to the reserve offer insight into traditional crafts, medicinal plants, and sustainable living practices that have been maintained for generations. The Rio de Barra, where a river meets the ocean, creates a unique ecosystem that supports diverse wildlife and provides opportunities for kayaking, fishing, and bird watching. The area's natural beauty and ecological importance make it a favorite destination for eco-tourists and nature photographers. Trancoso proves that true luxury lies not in ostentatious displays of wealth, but in the ability to experience authentic beauty, cultural richness, and natural perfection in environments that respect both human needs and environmental integrity. This bohemian paradise teaches us that the most exclusive destinations are those that maintain their character while welcoming visitors who appreciate and respect their unique qualities. From the simple perfection of the colonial square to the pristine beauty of protected beaches, Trancoso demonstrates that the most valuable travel experiences are those that connect us to places where time seems to slow down and life's essential pleasures can be fully appreciated. As our journey through these 10 remarkable destinations comes to an end, we carry with us more than just memories of beautiful places and incredible experiences. We carry lessons about life, culture, and the endless capacity of human creativity to create beauty and meaning in partnership with the natural world. Each destination we've explored offers unique insights that extend far beyond travel and tourism. Rio de Janeiro taught us that true magnificence emerges when natural beauty and human creativity dance together in perfect harmony. Salvador showed us that cultural fusion creates something more beautiful and meaningful than its individual components. Florianopolis demonstrated that paradise doesn't have to remain untouched to stay magical, while Parody proved that preservation and vitality can coexist in perfect balance. As we conclude this journey together, I want to leave you with this thought. Travel, at its best, is not just about seeing new places, but about seeing the world and ourselves with new eyes. The destinations we've explored today offer more than vacation opportunities. They offer chances to grow, learn, and connect with the incredible diversity and beauty of our shared planet. Thank you for joining me on this incredible journey through Brazil's most captivating destinations. Don't forget to subscribe to our channel for more travel adventures. Hit that notification bell to stay updated on our latest discoveries. And remember, the world is waiting for you to explore it.